What up? What up? What up?
Yo,
What's up, homie?
what's going on, man? Saludos to
What's up, bro?
everybody.
Sean Whaling, thank you for stopping by. Tex Mex, thank you. What's up, man? How you? I let's see. Wait till a few more people get in here.
Yes,
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing
Me
pretty
too.
good. Just trying to keep up with the times, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Yes, there's many changes going on in this world.
Yeah. What up, Turtle? Yeah. All right. We'll give it a few minutes. See if we can get a few more people in here. But well, you guys see the thumbnail. This is what we're going to be talking about today. Well, let me just get to it, bro. So this is a homie of mine that I kind of met through the content, through my earlier videos, and so found a way to get at me, and we started talking, and we realized that we're from the same era, the same area, the same time period, and we have the same type of roots, um,
About the
tag
same
banging
age.
roots. Yeah. Um, so he went his path, I went mine. He's from a barrio, and specifically in the west side of LA, in the mid city area. But we're not going to discuss all that. We're going to discuss the era that we're both from, and that's our roots, and that's the tag bang area. Excuse me, the tag bang era in the west side of LA, in the mid city area. So this is the homie right here. So I'm gonna just kick it to you, big dog. I'm gonna give you the this is your time, your space. So dale gas.
All
Introduce
right,
yourself,
so
if you will.
I'm gonna go as just another vato here. Growing up in the mid city, mid Wilshire district, there's a lot of stories, many events, many experiences. And I'll say that the tagging times was a lot of fun. Individuals that grew up in the mid city, mid Wilshire district, if they know it's from South Robinson Boulevard to Crenshaw Boulevard, is what many know as that district. But being that I got into the tagging scene, and before that, I'll say it's from West Adams Boulevard and the 10 freeway to up to Pico Boulevard. That would be considered the mid city, mid Wilshire district. And for those who grew up in this era, it was a lot of fun in the beginning because everyone was either in elementary school or junior high, and there's many who grew up together who just didn't like each other. I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. Um, Around the mid city, mid Wilshire district, you have La Cienega Heights, you have Lafayette Square, you have Crestview, you have Faircrest Heights, and you have Arlington Heights. And then if you go further, you'll get into Pico Union area, and that's when, as Bam Bam has mentioned before, OFA and many others who were around that tagging before the tag banging began.
Yeah.
So with all that is, I'll give you experiences growing up as a teenager, from a child to a teenager, when I would be around Henry Park in between Lucerne Boulevard and South Windsor Boulevard. And I'm saying these streets because if you grew up around the area, around the era, you would know. You're probably like myself, growing up with a BMX bike
Right.
or one of
Yeah.
your skateboards and a Jensen backpack filled with Krylons, mean streaks,
Yeah. Let
and
me.
scribers. You
Yeah.
know,
Like real quick.
yeah.
Yeah. Gromash. I used to be from BSA. So just let me just jump in real quick. So my whole tagging uh roots and all that come from, that's the first crew I joined, BSA area. I used to write area from BSA, and then that's where it started for me. So like I know the first generation of BSAs. I know like the first generation of ATCs, AOBs. I remember the OFAs, the MWAs, and all that, and we'll get into it. I used to write area. I used to be right there on St. Andrews. I used to be right there on Pico, excuse me, Western and Venice, the Pizza Hut, the burger stand. Um, so my mom, real quick, lived in West Adams. I've said a lot of my content in, which is basically neighborhood 20 Bloods, right in that little area. And so my dad lived in the mid city, right? So we'll get to that. Um, so yeah, no BSA, obviously, and I know that's kind of how me and the homie know each other. So I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, I mean, speaking on BSA, the ones that grew up in that era and knew the beginning of it, it was AOBSATC, and everyone would kick it at Western and Venice, if I remember correctry. I mean, I
Facts,
would
like
go everywhere. I mean, Winchell's on Venice
yeah,
was I think
look,
Seventh
yeah.
Street. So
I, re-
yes,
I re- so
that's
look,
where all the homies would meet up after school and have
facts.
fights at Winchell's Donuts parking lot. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so as I was saying, growing up in the areas, you have many tagging crews, and I'll mention a whole bunch of tagging crews. And if you remember any names, you can go right ahead, and then we can talk about in
yes,
the
sir.
90s because it started for me at least. It started in 87, 88, and when we get into the 90s is the green light, and that's the tag banging. Started heavy,
Yeah,
and it just went to different streams. So, I mean, I'll tell you a rundown of most of the tagging crews, get it out of the way, so that after that I can start telling everybody the experiences I had and what streets, what areas of LA I would be at. Filled with like I said, a Jensen backpack with Krylon's mean
yeah.
streaks
Mean
and
streets.
scribers that I
Yeah.
would get. I would go get on in front of LACC College. There was a stationery store that had all that, and it was cheap, so I would go right there and make sure that happened. But I'll go ahead and run down all the tagging crews that I remember before tag
Morris
banging began.
Drive.
So SSK, uh,
Yeah.
that was one that was around there. And then you had USC, you had, like I said, AOB, BSA, ATC, you had MCA, you had TIK, you had UCLA, you had MWA, you had OFA, of course, and the OFA had the OFA Queens. Um, After that, if you go further, you can probably remember OKC in Hollywood. You had the NL, which was number line, but then you had another ones that would call it No Love Crew. You had MBT. I know you remember Nothing But
Yeah.
Trouble.
Trouble Gang. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I
So
think they
then you,
became a gang, and a lot of them got into 60s, I believe.
yes, it was a lot of them that became Crips. Then you had the H2Os, you had MOTs, and then you had another one that I could remember was
MOT.
Asesinos Crew. So
The, the, yeah. So Asesinos was like, a lot of them were from FMA. I always
yes,
forget about them fools. Yeah. And then let's not forget about the Builders in Poland. Let's not forget about the Quebraditas.
yeah, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. The Quebradita crews in that time, a lot of them were Tigers.
Yes.
A lot of them were. I,
Yeah, I know a lot of for user A1, A100. Yes, La Brea and Adams. I was a lot in that area. I have
yeah.
many experiences and stories that I will share. But yeah, in the tagging crew era, it was a lot of people who got along real good and would meet up. And if you were deep involved into tagging and you were a bomber or a piecer and try to get the heavens, you would always meet up at Pan Pacific Park. Okay,
Yeah.
And meeting up in Pan Pacific Park was one of the things that many would do and talk about what's going to be the next big thing, because after you would have the meetings at Pan Pacific Park, and then you end up going to the Grove, and if not the Grove, you go to I believe Beverly Center.
Yeah,
A lot of
Miracle
people will
Mile,
be at Beverly
yeah,
Center,
Jewish
man.
community, um, CBS Studio, Price is Right. That's where I caught my case in that area. That's where I caught my own
Yes,
robbery. Um,
yes.
Brea Tar Pits.
La Brea Tar Pits, yeah, I got a story for that. There's a little park near the La Brea Tar Pits. But growing up in the teens and the 20s, the difficult parts was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
after everybody started getting deep. Um, Many barrios, especially in the Mid City District, Mid Wilshire District, where if you remember, you
Hmm.
had the 18th Street, you had Mid City Stoners or Mid City Hobart, which was in Queen Anne Park. You had the Harpies, and you have Mara Salvatruchas. Those were the main ones that play, because Drifters was there a lot, but you probably didn't
Pico.
hear much about it.
Yeah.
Being
23rd. Yeah.
Yes, being that they're in 23rd, they weren't in the mix so much when it comes to this, because it was a LA high school most of the times, and we'll get into that when we speak on the getting to the fighting part of it. But yeah, I mean, you had Easy Riders more towards Vermont area, so that's going towards Western Adams, or the Adams District, I believe.
Yeah.
You had the Playboys in the Hobart area
Yeah.
With the Mid City Hobart clique there, which is the Stoners. But when it comes to tagging, everybody was trying to get the hit ups. Everyone wanted to be spoken of, just like when you would watch Fox Undercover.
Yeah.
Uh,
Chaka.
yes, you
Yeah.
would talk about Chaka. So everybody wanted to get that. Um, oh, yes, Harpies, Fifth Ave on Pico. Those are the Fifth Ave Harpies, yes. That's the ones that would be in the Mid City District. A lot of people
Farmero.
know the Harpies from the Vermont area, but not
Yeah.
many spoke of the Fifth Avenue.
Euler. Yeah. Facts.
Oh yeah, Euler. I
Yeah.
remember Euler. Euler. You can put Euler at the time when I was growing up. Everybody would talk about Euler and Jimmer. Jimmer was one that
Jimmer.
was talked about a lot, just like
Yeah.
Euler.
Jimmer.
Um, you
Oh,
know,
Orion from ATC, bro, used to get up a lot.
yes,
I remember Orion up a lot from ATC before before it started to get to you know shoot them up, bang bang.
yeah. I mean,
Grizzlies, of course, yeah.
one thing I do want to say and mention, because we are mentioning AOB.
Oh
Excuse
yeah,
me.
yeah. We can't forget about AOB, bro. Yeah,
Um, with AOB, you got to say rest in peace, Search. He was one that everyone in the tagging, writer, graffiti artist, bomber, piecer, everyone knew about it.
yeah,
And mad respects to Search one, and he was one that was trying hard. He was trying, or I can say he was trying always to make BSA, AOB, and ATC always stick together. Yes, Easy Riders was on Venice and Vermont, mostly on Menlo, if I remember correctly.
hmm
I was the type of youngster back in the 80s and 90s to drive my BMX bike, homeboy, and me riding my BMX bike everywhere, because it was tagging era, I would say.
yeah,
Everyone was speedman. Everyone was cool with it. Everybody, as long as you weren't slashing nobody. And I would go back to what I was saying when I was at Lucerne on Windsor Boulevard, West Ninth Francis. I was a spot where many would go to drink and smoke in small parks hidden from main streets. A lot of vatos and rucas from LA High would meet there before ditching parties. You know, and if you were around that area of Harold A. Henry Park, you already knew about Queen Anne Park between West 12th Street, Doc Weiler, and West Boulevard, Queen Anne Place. And, you know, we'll get into it when you're ready with the rumble of Queen Anne
Oh yeah,
Park.
let's do it. Well,
Okay.
shit. You cool with saying where you used to tag from?
Ah, man, you know, we already talked about that, and I can't
Okay.
mention many things, dog. But you know, yeah, I can't
Okay.
say that
Okay. So I'll
because
say,
yeah,
all right.
you can
Yeah.
say that, you know, the
No,
crews
no,
that were
no.
there, yeah, but I can't
Well, no,
personally
no. I
say
could
myself.
say I'll say because as far as I don't, I forgot about that one. Stoner. I could say in the rumbles guys, forget my basement. I'm in my basement. That's my sump pump. So I could say that well, I'll say this in that fight we were allies. I'll just say that. So because that rumble in LA High, um, well, I'll say it was basically FMA, BSA, LC versus Mid City, TIK, and MWA, if I remember correctly.
Yes, I
Okay.
would agree.
Okay, I'll let you take it from here. Go ahead.
So m- the reason that started occurring was, like I said, many people went to the same schools, elementary or junior high, and you had Arlington Heights. You had, let me see if I remember correctly, the schools. Hmm, Arlington Heights. You had, I think, Berendo, if I'm correct. Is one of the schools near?
Yeah, Berendo. Yeah, yeah, of course, Gromish. Yeah, I know him well. Um, Berendo. I always forget where Berendo was at, bro. Wasn't Berendo over there? Oh man, like over there going towards when you getting out of the mid city, mid Wilshire, you're going over there towards up Olympic, Vermont, up like up by MS, and by Francis.
Yes, yes, yes.
I think that's
If
where
you were in
Berendo was
LA
at.
High, if you were in LA High, you took a left and made a right. I think on La Cienega, you would hit Berendo because it was
Okay,
going
then
towards those big, rich-looking houses.
yeah. Well, remember LeConte?
Yes, I
LeConte.
remember LeConte.
Okay, because I went to
Um,
Bancroft.
yeah, okay.
Because my history. Okay, so my mom lived in West Adams, right? So I went to that private school. I think it was St. Paul's on Washington, right in front of the car wash that isn't there anymore.
Yes,
So my mom and my dad, they separated, right? My dad used to live over there off of Normandy and Berenda, which would have been like Mara, Normandy locals. But then he moved over there to Lafayette Square, so Lafayette Road. Off of Venice, you make a left on Lafayette Road. Then he moved to the other side of West Boulevard, and that's where he lived. So well, they separated. So when my mom pulled me out of that school, she didn't want to send me to Fauché because my mom lived on Normandy and 27th.
yes.
Again, that's
Oh,
Harpies, Drifters.
Fauché was not nice, though.
Yeah, 20 Bloods, Harlem Crip, all that in that area. Harpies, right? I said Harpies of the 20s
Yes,
of them. And so she was like, nah, nah, no voy a mandar ahí. So she used my dad's address and I couldn't get into Ataloma. So I got into Arlington. So when I went to Arlington, that's how I know like the first generation of BSAs. I know a bunch of Bloods from there, right? Because we went to
yes,
Arlington. And
yes.
so,
Well, going back to John Burroughs, so it was Hancock
yeah,
Park between Wilshire Boulevard and Melrose, and then North La Brea and South Arden Boulevard. That's where John Burroughs Middle School was at. And then you had Mount Vernon, that everybody now knows as Johnny Cochran Middle School. Okay, so
yeah,
when all
yeah,
this started, everybody was knowing anybody and everybody, and because of that, a lot of people disliked many from different tagging crews. So when it came to the the Rumble in Queen Anne Park, I think what had to do with it was some individuals in LA high school. started problems with vatos from MCA and MWA. But the people that were in LA high school, I believe they were either BSA, AOB, or LC, not sure. But like I said, because all these individuals were always together, everyone hooked up and
Palms. Hmm.
started doing what they do, and started talking shit to one another, and or I should say ish, if you can't have profanities on this.
Yeah, you can. Fuck yeah.
Okay, so I don't want you getting docked. Um, so then you had MCA, MWA, and I believe TIK hooked up together. And then after that, that's when you had BSA, AOB, FMA, and if I'm correct, LC was there too.
Yeah, LC was there.
So
Saludos, Robert.
saludos y respetos to all in the chat. Yes,
Yeah, saludos, bro.
gracias. So
Yeah,
when that happened, you already know who's taking part in what.
right.
And the thing with that was, as everyone's growing up, you're a child, you're a teen, not even children, because there was a lot of homies from these crews, and every crew that I'm talking about that were elementary students and junior high students. But then you had your older homies that were already in high school, and some were even out of school and were just full grown adults. But then that's where it comes into the tag banging era, and people did not know what tagging crews were affiliated or associated or allied with other
Yeah.
gangbangers, all the other
Yeah.
real
Um,
known, respected gangs.
yeah. Hold on real quick. Dar, Page, Woke. I would just name those three.
Are they wanting names of the MCA or?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can the ones that I can remember, I can go ahead and put out if they're all right with that.
Yeah, yeah. Because see, let me just say real quick. So, and I said this in that early content, right? So I'm 49. So BSA, ATC, BSA, ATC. I don't know. I don't know about TIK. I'm not sure about MCA and AOB. I know that AOB, OFA, BSA, ATC kind of came before FMA did, right? So so all those crews, they were on the other side of West on Crenshaw, right? FMA, we were over here, which would at that time would have been considered 18th Street, right? So past Crenshaw, West Boulevard. MCA was on the other side of the bridge on West Boulevard into Queen Anne Park. Now we just didn't like each other, bro. I mean, I could say with the MCAs and kind of the TIKs, it, we just us that grew up together, they went to Mount Vernon together, and a lot of it was carry over from BSA because I was from BSA. Three of my homies were from BSA, right, from FMA, and all of us are still from FMA, right? It kind that TIK MCA kind of carried over a little bit from there, but my other homies they just I don't want to say their names. They just it was just we didn't like each other, bro. It came from baseball playing at Queen Anne Park. I do remember
Yes.
that we would kind of just bump heads. I don't know, and then so we grew up on the other side of West Boulevard. So that rumble, that's what that was, and the MWA beef with FMA, I think that started with BOK actually, because MWA and BOK were like clicked up. I actually did time with Info Looney from BOK in Pleasant Valley on a 3 yard in '97. That's like the only other. I think they tried. I think they uh, try to become. I don't know. I think it was MWA Maplewood Avenue. I think it was. He told me.
Yeah, Maplewood Avenue.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where that was at. So yeah, okay. So that's why we got down. I mean, we
Well,
were already cool with
BOK,
BSA and ATC,
BOK.
so it was easy to just in Mid City. The Mid City beef started because most of MCA got into Mid City, and for me, it was like they were always Mid City. And that was the problem. They thought that we were just like 18th Street. See, that's FMA
Yes.
MCA like politics, and it
Yeah.
carried over to FMA Trece versus Mid City. So that grudge was there it was inherited. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I agree. I agree. So going back to the names, with we're talking about MCA names, correct?
Yeah,
Well,
Gromish
I mean
Divine. Yeah,
the most known MCA that anybody and everybody would know would be Jimmer.
yeah,
Okay,
big time.
so it was Jimmer. You had Spike, you had Casa, Clove, and then one Rhyme, Rime. So
Page.
yeah, so you have Page. So all these individuals from MCA, they were like you mentioned, they most of them got into Mid City, Queen Anne
Yeah,
Park area, and from there, whatever happened after that, then it was just like you mentioned, because FMA was thought to be with 18th Street,
yeah,
and Mid City would back up um, MCA or NWA. That from my understanding with the beefs that happened, right?
yeah.
So after all that happened, this is now we're going into the 90s when all taggers got the
What up,
green light,
Capo?
and
Yeah,
the tag banging era began because people just didn't want to fight no more. It was
no,
knives and gunplay.
no,
And
and no, and then the Roke. I'll say because of how hyper violent that era was, and I've always said it's like that's like a pre-generation that, damn man, there's some that pre-generation that might have not wanted an alternative to game banging. You know what I mean? So
yes,
they didn't wanna. They didn't wanna. You know what I'm saying? So it was an alternative, but bro, it was just really we were just little gangs, bro, that weren't gangs. You know what I mean? Because when FMA started, we already some of us from BSA, um, the other homies that started FMA, because I'm like seventh in, right? So this is '92, late '92 into '93. It took a while for us to get whatever. So, um, dude, we had straps before. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We had straps before we even had spray cans sometimes, but we came in towards the late end of the tag banging had already started. When we came in, we were FMAK, and then quickly that went out the window for us. What it was we were too close to 18th Street. So I've said it before: brothers, cousins, uncles. It was almost thought that it was just a thing that we would get in, but there was for those of us that grew up there. I don't have problems with them. The problem was that we began to write just mob up that whole when you pass Crenshaw West Boulevard, we would have it all mobbed up. FMAK. We started putting arrows, then we started having beef, right? And we started shooting beefs, and then we started the arrows, and that's what began really the turn with 18th Street, right? Once we started putting arrows, like they just started slashing, and then that's how it became a thing, and it just didn't turn back despite having a bunch of homies that had brothers, cousins, and uncles from there. So,
yes,
but
and since you mentioned BOK, you got to remember
yeah,
BOK was hooked up with MWA at the time,
yes,
and this was in 1989 when they
quite a
clicked up.
few.
Because BOK and MWA had Hollywood, Los Angeles, Echo Park, North Hollywood, and Montebello clicks. Even though, like you mentioned,
Michael Myers,
even
yeah,
though they were just tagging crews, there was plenty of clicks. There was every area that you can think of. A lot of homeboys were growing up together, and it was because of school. And then they would find out where they live at, and then everyone would get together. So
yeah,
that's one thing that a lot of the MWA, MCA, and then TIK, they grouped up together. And since you
yeah,
mentioned that a lot of MWAs got into a lot of MWAs got into Miss City, the reason they would help out a lot of the TIKs was because you had, I think, two individuals from TIK who got into Mid City themselves.
ah,
You
uh,
understand? So, and at that
oh,
time,
yeah,
Yeah,
No, no, I'm sorry.
at that time, that's where you
Oh,
understood the differences between now we're gonna go at it with anybody that was messing around with all these tagging crews. But then that's when you get into the aspect of tag banging and then, full on gang banging because the way I've seen it many years in that era, a lot of barrios were trying to recruit, but then you had the barrios that were just basically downright bullying and punking homies that were taggers, and that's where the rebellion began. Of, oh, we're gonna show you that we can go at it with you guys instead of joining you guys.
I would
That that's how I see it.
so okay. Because I said it in my content, right? And I'm not really crossing the line. Like I won't talk about the meeting we had with Smiley Drive, right? But
Yeah,
I'll say that you know what, I've done videos and I've erased them because I always I don't like mentioning names from there, right? Because it's an older clique of, like, you know what I mean? Because over
yeah, I
there it was
understand.
18, it was Tiny Malditos and everything came from there, right? Rim Paul, Smiley, Rancho Park. I knew a few of them because they were best, my stepsister's brother. And I'll say this: so when we started the right, we had beef with MKN, NWA, BOK. There was a lot of, you know what I mean. There was some shit going on, right? Okay, so that brought up attention, and then the MCA started, and then that's when a lot of people would go through there, and that's when the 18, specifically the Rim Paul, they were like, you know, not tripping, even with brothers from there, bro. So what happened was, that's why it kind of, I hesitate to talk about it. It just went south. So later, I'll bypass all that, and I'll say I know that was one thing that was discussed there in that meeting with the Smiley Drives, was that might have been the thing that wasn't done properly, considering all the family that my homeboys had. And somebody asked me how many people went. I think we might have lost at least 10 heads. Everybody that grew up closer to Smiley Drive pretty much got in 18th Street. But I could tell you this: they never came at us like that. You know what I mean? Once they got into 18th Street, bro, I don't even think we ever saw them again. And that's respects, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we used
yeah.
to kick it. We were tigers together. We had to, we did all that together. Once they got really serious, their family. Um,
Yes.
and so I'll say that because I almost don't, I don't like crossing the lines when I be talking about that. So out of respect for them, and I don't
Yeah,
want,
I agree. I agree. That's
yeah,
why I'm saying I really don't like mentioning names when it becomes into the aspect of gang banging. Tagging is a different a different total story.
rest in
And
peace. Yeah,
yes, rest in peace to Blanco. Um, but that's why I'm saying when it comes to those era of transitioning from a tagger to a tag banger, because now you have more than just spray play, you have
what
gunplay.
up, homie?
So when that goes into effect and you're trying to go at it with the big names of barrios, you're gonna get caught up. But if you put it down, like many, like I would say BSA still there. I would say, your crew FMA Trece getting theirs, earning their respects. You have the SSKs who went ahead and did theirs. You
Yeah,
have KAM,
yeah,
because I know you mentioned them a lot, but I'm
Cam, yeah,
talking about the ones that in the area that stood there. You have OFA is always spoken of, but they grew up, like you said, it would be after Crenshaw, after Western, after Vermont,
yeah.
because when you get into the aspect of OFA, then that's 18th Street, Burlington, and their experiences.
It
But
just,
I was still around that area as well because I would ride my BMX bike everywhere.
yeah. But I just want to answer this. Nah, dude. I can't say that for us it never felt that way. A lot of that. Oh shit! I can. You know what? This is fine. Um, no. I can say that I had a one of the first few from FMA was he was from Drifters. He was from 23rd Street. He did some time on some other stuff, and then he got his life together and he left the state. But um, and that's fine, right? So that was a kind of a thing there too with them because they would chase them before we were like not even game banging, bro. We would be playing baseball on the street or in Ataloma or like on 18th Street or Sonoma Drive, right? And we'd be playing baseball, and these fools were fucking, all choloed out like early 90s, and they would chase them. You know what I mean? It was funny. So that kind of carried over, bro, because you know what I mean, with them too, right? So it was like in a way we were never. It just was never meant to happen. It was meant to go the way it went. Unfortunately,
Yeah, well, that's why the comments that I'm reading, it makes sense because yes, the ones that were pressured to get in and they weren't liking it. I mean, is a bully tactic.
yeah,
They would go ahead and go against the barrio, go against the grain, and or eventually join another hood so that they can go ahead and put work on them for trying to bully them.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
I could, that's one thing I could say. I'll say it fairly. Nah, not really. And I could, man. Sometimes I want to talk about what happened in that meeting, but I would only be doing it for clout, bro. And that
okay,
was such a long time ago. One thing I think if you want to talk about, I would not even pressure, bro. Listen, I take very pride in that era, right? I take very pride in the fact that we said, we're going to be FMA. That I said till the wheels fall off it, and we rode it all the way to 2005. It is what it is. But there was a lot of respect. That's when I learned in that meeting the what gangs were was the first time I ever saw how it was. And I would just
yeah,
say that they said this, okay, we have the same enemies. They named all the neighborhoods, crews, or whatever we mentioned. They said, you come on, be 18th Street, Vineyard, because that's our clique, FMA, Familia Vineyard. You will be 18th Street, Vineyard, and FMA will be your hangout. You keep FMA. All this area will be yours, and we'll go to war with whoever. And I'm thinking now, mind you, we're all fucking 16, 17, 18, and we had
yeah,
already been shooting it up, and they knew that, and we had already exchanged fires, and they were still willing to do that. And so I think a lot of neighborhoods, and I think you can probably confirm, a lot of neighborhoods did see tag bangers for what they were, fucking riders. I had a lot of gunners. I
yes,
don't think we've talked about how violent it was, bro. I mean, a lot of tag bangers died, vice versa. And then all the ones that went at it with gangs, because it wasn't just FMA, BSA did, FMA, ATC. I'm not sure
yeah,
about OFA because Hoover, 18th Street, Hoover, and everything that was around there, dude. I don't know. That was a really active. The Pico Union was more active than kind of the Mid City area, right? And so there was a lot of gunners in the 90s. I think the 90s is for me is like the last era. I think last great era of Southsiders.
yeah. You were
No
living
disrespect, no
the
disrespect to
Western life.
nobody.
Yeah, you
Go
were
ahead, go
living
ahead.
the Western's life.
Yeah,
Shoot them up.
it was. It really was, bro. And so a lot of neighborhoods knew that, bro. They already were seeing these. And remember how many taggers LA wide had brothers from whatever barrio they were from or
Yes,
cousins. I
yes,
do, right?
yeah.
So I,
Rest in
I
peace,
remember
white boy from
jokingly,
Drifters. Yes.
yeah, I remember jokingly saying, "Hey, fool, fuck it, bring all your homies and you jumped in over here, and we'll try to do a West Side click over there." You know what I mean? So dude, it really was like that. Um, all right, I mean, that's what I got. I'll shoot it back to you.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, it was just
I do.
a debacle, and everyone that were involved in that. were just very upset with one another. Everyone wanted to go put in work after that.
Okay, Richie.
And if you remember, being that you mentioned football games, after that, it was the football games near Robinson.
Oh man.
You know,
My respects to you, Richie.
uh, yes,
Respects to you, bro. I had a homeboy that let me just real quick. I had my homeboy sniper, rest in peace, in El Salvador. He got deported to El Salvador, and yeah, so you know, my
man,
bad.
I've heard stories about when you get deported into El Salvador, you have vatos from MS waiting for you outside the airport. So I understand what you're talking about there, Richie.
Yeah,
And
this is
condolences to you
before
and yours.
these. Yeah, yeah. This was before it got bad. This is when This is when El Salvador was being before they were overrun. When they were doing some heinous shit. You know, the Salvadorian government or police.
Yes.
But all right.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, when I'll go back to where I was at with Hancock Park and John Burroughs Middle School. Then, if you go into Harvard Heights, in between West Olympic Boulevard and West 21st Street, near the 10th Freeway,
yeah,
South Gramercy Place, Normandy Ave. That's Los Angeles Elementary School, which is on Hobart and Pico. Is
yeah,
where all the vatos trying to hook up
yeah.
with the females of Bishop Conte, Our Lady of Laredo High School. Everybody was, and any vato that was growing up in that era, in that area, and Mid City District, Mid Wilshire District was trying to
Thank you,
get a
anarchist.
female from that one private school of females. This is all girls school, homie. Everybody was trying to get hooked up with a Heina there. You would
Yeah,
have you would
they,
have
they
teenagers
white
growing
skirts,
up.
right? Right uniform, all white uniform.
Yes,
Yeah, bro.
you would have the people, youngsters, teenagers of the time back in the 80s and 90s playing the Normandy Recreation Center
Yes,
and
yes,
baseball or boxing because they had a
yeah,
training spot for boxing. Um, and of course, being that you were in Washington, you have to know the Angeles Rosedale Cemetery. So that's the
yeah.
one, yeah, Washington,
Honduras, yeah,
Normandy. So on Catalina,
yeah.
I would go all over there, man. You
Man,
had the
bro, yeah,
country club
dude.
park in between Pico Boulevard and Olympic Crenshaw on Arlington. Going back to Queen Anne Park, it was on West
Fucking
12th Street in Dockweiler. Um,
Dogweiler. I,
so,
I feel like I know this guy, dog.
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know because I could tell he's from our same area, bro. Um, I went. You funny you mentioned that because again, my mom lived in West Adams, right? So what is that? I always man in between Normandy, Western, Adams, Jefferson.
Oh,
There's a little park called Lauren Miller Park. I've said it 1,000 times. That's rolling neighborhood 20 hood. That's Bloods, 20 Bloods. So I played baseball, Little League. That's why I'm a Braves fan. I'm gonna give you some insight. Okay, so so my mom lived on Normandy 27th. Okay, this is not 89, 90. The first time Continental Cable came to LA, they knocked on the door. My mom lived off of Normandy. Remember the old home, those nice houses? So Normandy and 27th, they knock on the door. They pitched cable. My mom got it. We had TBS. That's why I became a Braves fan because I played Little League, Lorna Miller Park for the Braves, and we played at Dinker Park, Shadow Park, Toberman Park, but we didn't go all the way to Queen Anne Park. So Toberman Park, you mentioned it earlier. That's Burlington, 18th Street. Oh, and Shadow Park. We played in Shadow Park.
yeah,
Shadow Park is sketchy, bro, because that's 18th Street, Shadow Park, MS. Um, Dinker Park is at that time is really Harlem 30s.
yeah. A lot of cribs there.
Yeah. Um, and I know I played with um, two brothers from Harpies, and their big brother would always go. We would drive with him. We would drive with them because he was protecting his little brothers. I don't know if they were from Harpies, but I know he was because we would talk. And
Okay.
when we go to Burlington, they would go. Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. But they wouldn't go to Shadow Park, right? Because it's, I don't know. I understand that now, right? So man, those are just good times, bro. You know what I mean? In that area, there was a laundromat on Normandy on Adams and 27th. There's a laundromat, I believe, right
Yes.
before you get Vermont. There's Jack in the
Yes.
Box in Vermont. That's my first time as a youngster seeing cholos, right?
Ah.
Going to that was Harpies, right? So going to that
Yes.
laundromat with my mom, and my mom, Central American woman, hondureña. Ay, Dios mío, estos cholos, Dios mío. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna tell you this, and I'd be forgetting so much, bro. And that's why I like doing this type of whatever, because I remember how fucking polite these fools were. What a señora here, let me help you with the bag. Straight. This was when they were wearing sarapes.
Yeah.
This is like when the 90s began to pop, right? So I don't know, bro. I was still with GI Joes. Dog. Actually, no, man. This is 80, 86, 87, 88, 89. Like, because I was still with GI Joes, bro.
Yeah, it was a
And
different. It was a
yeah,
different mentality, different era.
yeah.
You
All
know.
sarape with the fucking dickies. Yeah, man. But a lot of respect, even though it was what it was. So, I mean, um, yeah, okay. I'll throw it back.
Yeah. So after we go into Crestview, you get into Lafayette Square in between
Curly.
Washington, Venice, and Crenshaw Boulevard. Uh, I remember there was a spot, Victoria Drive Park, and you can take a shortcut so you can get on Pico Boulevard. Riding my bike, right there, BMX. I would go to the Blue Line and go all the way to
Rambo.
Santa Monica
Yes,
and or
fool, it was
Venice.
Rambo. Oh, sorry, dog. This dude, look, it's okay. Look, I've read in all his comments, bro. He's either, I don't know, LC. He's from right. You're from right there, bro, and from the same area. Respects to you, because I know Rambo from there, and I remember the RoboCop, the school police RoboCop used to beat us all up. Used to chase us all out of Mount Vernon.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, my bad, bro. My bad. Go ahead.
No, no worries. I mean, yeah, a lot of stuff happened in Mount Vernon. I mean, I had a lot of people I knew that would go to Mount Vernon and their stories because it goes back to
Ceviche? Yeah.
when we first started. The comment that said the Winchell's on Pico. It was, I believe, it was 6th Ave, I believe, and Pico, where Mount Vernon students would, when you call someone out, I'm gonna meet you at 3 o'clock, and
Uh,
you would go to the parking lot of Winchell's, and everybody would be throwing down,
fuck yeah,
just
dude.
fist to face, and then everyone screaming, but
Deuce
yeah,
fives. My bad. I can't forget the
yeah,
Deuce fives, bro. Can't forget the
yes,
Deuce fives.
Deuce
Yeah, yeah.
five was all over that area,
MVPs
you know.
too.
Um,
MVP, yeah.
but
Um, if I may tell a story,
yeah,
because
go
I
ahead,
think
man.
I'm comfortable mentioning Tiger names. It was me. This is BSA, so it was me, Rage, Tito, Rage's sister, Well, Setter, Skim, Orel, and we're in the wind shows. And the uh man, this is so long ago. Oh man, I always get. Let's just say we came up, bro. We came up, and then we walked all the way to all deep, bro. Walked all the way up Venice to Western, bro. And he bought everybody fucking burgers from that burger spot,
Yes,
a burger spot. And then if you remember those days, how BSA would there was that boys, was it a boys market, bro? Was it
yes,
boys? Yeah, they would do the big ass in blocks.
oh yeah,
BSA. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. OFA used to occasionally come across it out.
yeah. It was
Um,
in the alleys too,
yeah,
right after St. Andrews. You had the alley before you get into Western, so I remember that.
yeah. Look at this dude, bro. So it's funny he mentions this because okay, you know what? Let me, because I almost forgot. Let me, even though kind of I never really liked the TIKs, right? But I went to
Yeah.
school with their first generation. Rayet, DeWitt, um, Trusty, um, a few others. Beck. Uh, I had personal beef with Beck. That carried over from with FMA. That's kind of why we had issues with them. Um, and they were always with like MWA BOK. A lot, man, dude. So much I could say that I think uh, I hold back because I don't want to. It's fucking weird, dude. But even with the Tiger shit, like there was a lot of issues, bro.
Well,
It is West LA, homie. There was a
growing
lot,
up,
dude. We were
be-
fighting. I mean, we were blasting on each other, bro. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I fucking
being
say it. It
being
it
that you're
was what it
mentioning,
was. Like
yeah, you're
once that
mentioning,
shit became to shoot shots fired, bro, there was no more fighting no more. There
yes.
was no
Then
more
we
fighting.
we go into the tag banging era,
Yeah. Yeah, fuck it, let's
and
go.
that's
And
when
we might have to do another one of these, dog, if you
Chris
could. But yeah,
Blatchford started going into the
yes.
area of Mid City and Mid Wilshire district looking for youngsters who want to come out on the cameras.
Yeah. They did.
So
They went all through there, bro.
yeah,
But
I
by that
mean,
time we had already
being that
seen.
you're talking about TIK, I mean, the people that I mean, writing, you meet a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And so it was Trust, Royal, Beck, Faults, Rolled It. I think it's Gino, Soaker,
So yeah,
Craner, Seismic, Little
seismic.
OS. You had a Battle, Puck, Runs, Taz, Jinx, Demo, Sage, Stock, Cone, Drone,
Stage. Oh man,
uh,
fuck. They were a
Seppi,
little deep. They were a
Sis,
little deep.
Fusca, Smokey, Doet, Insane. So and they had a big bunch.
And they
Sudden,
used to
Tex,
write. They knew how
Market,
to write,
Revum,
bro.
Marv, Love, Sion, Jedi. You know, I grew up with a lot of them, man.
Yeah, me
And
too.
yes, there was many people who just disliked each other.
Yeah.
But after, like I said, after the gunplay, it was just whoever gets caught. I mean,
Yeah.
survival of the fittest.
Yeah. But and I'll say, oh, but see, I can almost like by that time, bro, it was already we were getting into you mentioned Chris Blanchard. He was already bringing up. We were already getting too much exposure when they did that tag banging shit on TV. That's when
Yes.
it started to change.
Yes.
That's when
Well,
it
that's
started
why
to like,
the SSKs on Menlo and Vermont, I mean, excuse me, Menlo and Venice, they
yeah,
were the ones that allowed Chris Blatchford to go to do everything in the undercover scene to show everything that was being shown. And that's why many people knew about SSK. And after SSK, then OFA went ahead and did the same thing. So,
yeah, yeah.
but
And then
that it gave many people, uh, I guess you can say, ammunition to be talked about. They that's the way that they were known more.
yeah, you know what? You're right. I remember that be a talking point that we would laugh and joke around. Blame it on the OFAs
Yeah, you can
because
you can
nobody and there was
you can still
yeah,
find
dude.
it to this day on YouTube. If you
Yeah,
go look for
yeah,
it.
yeah. Because and by then, bro, it was already bad, bro. Because
Yeah.
once 94, I would say mid 93 to 94, it was over. It was all out war.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody.
with Mid City and 18th Street, bro, it was all bad for us, for FMA now, because that is a big. You think this is how big LA is? We were allies with BSA, LC. Now let me just say, because I'm already forgetting. FMA participated. That I in like we were 2-2. I think we beat MKN. We beat MKN. I think we beat BNW. We lost it to MCA and we lost to LC. Against MCA, I threw 3 interceptions, gentlemen.
Oh, you
Um,
talking about the football games?
yes, yeah, because this is fun, bro. This is fun, and hopefully we could do another part, bro.
Yeah.
But
Well,
because
that was the alternative. That was the alternative to having a battle
Yes,
Instead
it
of having a
was. Or to
battle,
settle it. We tried to
yeah,
settle it with
you
MCA
just
that
do a
way, but
football game.
yeah, it didn't happen, bro. We all got down after that. They got mad. I'm just keeping a buck. They got mad that we won most of the fights. Now,
Yeah.
see, there's so much info. Remember the peace treaty, bro?
Yes.
Us and MCA were fighting almost every day during the peace
Rest in
treaty.
peace, villain and
Yeah,
drifters.
yeah. We were fighting every day with MCA. Oh, not every day. I exaggerate. During the peace treaty, we had rumbles. We had 101s in Queen Anne. We pulled up on them in a van. They would do the same shit to us. They would throw eggs at us. Um, um, so then, well, I remember they drove by deep as fuck when we had the meeting with Dar did. He was a tagger, and then he got into Mid City. It was crazy back then. But once it got bad, I mean, we were in so much close proximity that
Yeah.
the stuff with TIK and MWA and all that faded away, bro. It was just Mid City and 18th Street. And
Yeah.
that's when we all kind of lost touch with, I'll say, allies like homies from BSA, OC.
Everyone went their own way. Everyone went their way. Homeboys were getting locked up. A lot of homies were getting a lot of years. Some got life.
Yeah, I do
Um,
remember. Yeah,
it's just, it was like you know what you signed up for, and it's part of the game, basically.
yeah,
And if you stay
yes, I heard
even
you.
with it, if you stay solid, then the ones that are out there now, they're doing pretty good for themselves, or some just, like you call it, and they didn't do what they had to do and are known as pesetas, as basura.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh yeah, I could name so many names. I can. That era was so active, bro. And you know what I do for content, and it's I can all that will be content, dude. That's views. Like, well, I shouldn't say that, right? Depending
uh,
on how I put the thumbnail, if I wanted to, or stuff like that, I could.
well, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to tagging and tag banging era,
Yeah,
but it's just, there's a line that cannot be crossed.
yeah.
Yes, USC, I remember USC, they were hooked up with
DKA,
SSK, and
DKA, mhm.
yes, SSK and USC were very good, tight individual crews, and
STKs.
yes,
Yeah,
but it goes back to, now is just respect. Give the next person the respect, and you'll be all right. But the people that have the animosity built in for years because of what happened in the past and it's not going to change, that's who you just got to stay on your toes with,
yeah,
you know. And being that I was always on my BMX everywhere, and it's just, I had a lot of fun at the time, and it just changed, man. It changed. And
yeah. No,
one thing I want to say is,
yeah,
all the individuals that were going to all these different schools, when you got expelled and you needed to go to a continuation, a lot
hmm
of people were sent to that in Soledad Enrichment Action Crenshaw Charter School for
yeah,
continuation, and that's where you had everyone fighting. After that, everyone would meet there just to fight.
yeah, yeah. I got kicked out of my OT, opportunity transfer. So I got
Mm,
OT'd to Webster. Webster was just basically Culver City. Uh,
yes.
it's basically, bro.
I was out there in Culver City a lot.
Yeah, and from there I got kicked. I got kicked out. And I went to Bancroft. By then I was already tag banging. I was still from BSA. I got jumped by MWA. Uh, and then like, hey, then after that, my mom's Central American mom sent my ass to Honduras for 6 months. So when I came back, I was like, as I told my dad, hey, dad, no, I'm like, come on now. So I went back, and at the time, my first lady, first girl, first love, or whatever, told me, oh, your friends, I see a lot of FMA writing. You better not start doing that again. And that's the first thing I did, and that's what
Mm,
happened because this is where I grew up, where I was living, and this is who I grew up with, who I played baseball with, who I played, you know what I mean, in the Mid City area, right?
Yeah.
That's where a few blocks will can change you, because
Mm.
if I grew up on the other side of Crenshaw, it's different for
Well,
me.
I knew of students at the time because they were trying to do a lot of tagging. Yes, Gromish. Personally, no Mid City
Yeah, I do.
Stoners. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, Growing up, I spoke with a lot of students who were in the tagging era and mindset, and they would carry different color shirts in their backpack because when you're walking around those areas, you went ahead and changed change
Oh
your
yeah,
shirt when what depends
yeah.
on what streets you're walking on. So I knew a lot of tagger homies that had to do that because they would walk into different barrios, walking around the streets of different barrios. If it's SA hoods or Bloods or Crips. So yes.
Yeah, there was. If you're saying there was a lot of snitch in the '90s, absolutely, bro. 100%.
Oh, I agree. I
Oh,
agree.
100%. I got homies that went down for that, because of that, right? That happened. That it is what it is, and that's like a lot of shit. I can't, man, dude. It was fun. It was guns blazing, bro. To say, because yes, I think me and him could both sit here, bro, and just talk about all the bang bang, shoot 'em up. Oh, I remember when we got blasted on by these guys, or I remember we blasted on these guys, or blasted on. But can't really be doing any of that. Um, what are you to the home? Where did you stay at? Me? Okay. My mom lived on Normandy in 27th. My dad, which is why I'm from FMA, lived on St. Elmo Drive, in between Vineyard and West Boulevard. So I'll talk about FMA all day. So I lived there. My homeboy Wicked lived on West Boulevard. My homeboy Wicked and Shelly, rest in peace, lived on West Boulevard. My homeboy Chino Downer lived on 18th Street. My homeboy Baby lived on 18th Street. My homeboy Moreno and Little Man, rest in peace, lived on Claudina. That was the hot spot, 21st Street. Who am I forgetting? My homeboy Traeger lived on Washington. Then we had, homies past La Brea. Those are the ones that really kind of had a lot of family from 18th Street. So some hung around for a little bit, and then they just, that was it. So that's where I live. Me and my homies. That shit was active, bro. I could do, man. Jesus, remember there was a burger stand right there on Washington after you pass West Boulevard. It's on the thumbnail, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If it's the one on West Boulevard, yes. You're talking
Yeah.
about Tams?
No, it's on Washington. So you pass. It was at Best Burgers.
Oh, Best Burger?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Best
Yeah.
Burger
Yeah.
in LA.
Yeah, it's right. It was a small little place, bro. Small little hole in the wall. Like if you're going on Washington, hey, we used to claim the fame because Ice Cube, when he did Today Was a Good Day, he stopped. The video stops when he's driving right on Washington and West Boulevard, and then
Okay.
it's so if you pass West Boulevard, there was a little burger spot um,
Mm.
behind Queen Anne Place, back of
Yeah, you
Atlantic.
remember Okie Dog?
Yeah.
Okay, so Okie Dog that's on next to West and Pico now, it used to be on Fairfax. Okay, so that's
Yes.
where that's
Yeah.
where all taggers would meet up before we would go and kick it in Hollywood. But if you were to be at Okie Dog for
Opposer.
pastrami sandwiches and pastrami fries, we would all meet up there. And if I remember correctly, it was 860 North Fairfax, right? And we will all
Yeah.
be chilling there doing our thing, talking about what's going to be the next move for hitting up Heavens or busting
Oh yeah.
a
Yeah.
piece. And they closed that down, and now it's at West Pico Boulevard, right next to West Boulevard and South Rampau. It's on Mullen Avenue.
Way over there.
Yeah, so
Huh? I mean, you know what, dude? I'm a fuck, bro. When you talk about tagging, I did, but I think that if you're from the Mid City area, tagger, you were tag banging. You had a limited time to be able to enjoy just being a tagger. That's the way I see it. Because when I got out to BSA, there was already beef with OFA, MWA. It was already, and at that point, bro, it was pretty much on the verge of shots fired time. So very limited. It was to me. That's why I don't even say I was a tagger. I just say I was a tag banger. I love Capital Burgers. You know what I mean? And let me just because I won't. And then and now, for, like, look, and I all have much respect for every tag banger that's that they shot the dice and tried to become a barrio. Much respect to them because I could tell you, and I've said it in my content, bro. 18th Street outnumbered is 4-1, bro. I'm not really talking about Rimpo. I'm talking about everything over there off of Smiley Drive. And Mid City wasn't like they weren't deep, right? And we held our own, bro. You know, and it is what it is. And a lot of people from that time in that area know, you know, just like BSA were riders, bro. LC were riders. I'm gonna go, you know, in the midst to me in that era, that time period. I think those were the most hyper violent BSA, LC, and FMA. Just the way I see it. MCA, man, they just quickly got into Mid City. I don't want to say quickly, but it seemed like they always were Mid City. Just like maybe they thought we were always 18th Street, but it was never that, right? TIK, like I says, it kind of faded out because it happened quick, homie. Like, and we've talked about this. Like, it was just a short. When I came back from Honduras in '93, it was already beef. I remember when the homie came from. He got jumped at. He got jumped somewhere. That started the beef with MKN. I think another, and then the beef started with MWA and BOK, and they would come down, they would come through there, bro. Right on the houses, and they do all kinds of shit. And then I knew. So this is a fun fact because of the AOBs. Now we're getting to deep lore. Chubbs from AOB. I remember when I got jumped by MWA, he was like, "Come on, man, you want to go down on him?" Because I think that's how we used to say it back then. And we went. Nobody was there. We got off. We rode or whatever. And so when I was from FMA and that was happening with the MWAs and BOKs, I knew where the MWAs would kick it at because they kicked it, which you could have considered rebels.
Yes.
The TMC, right? TJ Locals.
Yeah.
Out there by Hollywood.
Chubbs was one that I think kicked it with Deep and Remo a lot.
Yeah. So it they don't hit the like button for me, too. I never get likes. I just go there. I never get likes, dog. But I see. Okay, now let me say that before. I didn't go through that. I said it in my content, bro. I didn't go through that, and I went through county jail 94 and 95, bro. Man, this is a true story. When I got into the first module, my first able roll cell, or Baker, whatever it was, dude. 18th Street, not only 18th Street, Smiley Drive. No, excuse me, I take that back. Tiny Malditos, because if you know that over there's Tiny Malditos, and everything comes after that. Rancho San Pedro. Was it Little Watts? Yeah, the homie from Little Watts and somewhere else. I never went through it. Even the homie from 18th Street looked at me kind of weird, but I never went through that. None of my homies did. But I know that there was one. We had family, bro. I have family. We had families. We were always going to be all right. And when I say families, I'm talking about, multi-generational neighborhoods.
Yes.
We would have been all right. We would have been all right. Trust me when I say that, right? But don't know me. We would, that don't mean we would not have got mollywop, but I never experienced it. None of my homies did. Yeah. I am one of the first generation of that era to go through the county jail, go to the pen. I didn't have no problems. You know what I mean? And
yeah, I understand. Just to answer Gromish, yes. Poppin' Taco, I remember that. And if you're talking about Tom's Five and popping tacos, then you know across the street was the 50 cent pool.
Let me see. Yeah, to me, I think they're the ones who fully. What up, Texas? Fully made that transition, bro. I know. I believe ATC might still be around.
Yeah, they're
And I
still
don't really
around.
know. I don't know if any newer generation. Well, DIA. That's as far as I'll go because
Yes,
I don't know
DIA.
really the newer generation, bro. USV. We always have beef with them. And I think that when we were 05 is where I threw in the towel. I think the little homies got caught some cases and it was a wrap after that, bro. So um I don't know because we were on their heads. I'm not gonna, I was active at that time, but they weren't really around. But I think they win USB 3-2. I don't know. So I think for me, Cam obviously, and maybe ATC still. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, being that this guy right here, Hoser 654, saying Harpies had a tagging crew, that I can remember, it was ATC that hooked up with Harpies in the Vermont area, and
Yeah,
then they had their disbandment and they started going at it with each other.
yeah, yeah. I think ATC. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And over there, our real hyper violent enemies was MKN, and I don't know what happened to them.
Yeah.
I was when I was locked up. I was locked up with a homie from Harpies, and I remember he asked me, "Well, I know you fools. Well, I can't say that, but he's like, oh, what about the MKNs? Is I don't. I told him I don't know. I don't know. We were going at it like that, but I don't know what happened. And then again, I always say that the two big neighborhoods by us, that's what it became. So I don't really know. Um,
Yes, I remember a lot of homies from UTI. So
yes, the dancing cruise.
yes.
Yeah, quebraditas. I think we said that. Um, I mean, look, it was that's the era that I'm from. 49, 49.
See,
A lot
so
of
the individuals that are in their 40s,
I went to
50s,
Pico
and
Pool.
60s, 40s, 50s, and 60s are the ones that went through what we're just talking about. If you talk about the new tagging crews of now that are going through the same phases that was happening in the 80s and 90s, 2000s, then that's a new era of the tag bangers, and they do put their, they go ahead and get active, and they do what they need to be doing so that they can be known. So that's just
Yeah,
it is what it
49.
is, man. You gotta, like I said, survival of the fittest.
China kitchen the same. What time is it? I might have to quick about start wrapping it up.
Yeah, no
Well, I'm gonna
worries,
put you on
man.
the spot, dog. You think you want to do a part three of this in the near future?
Yeah, man. I'll just, like I said, I'll talk to my network and put
Yeah.
together what we can, and then I'll let you know when we can do it again, brother.
Yeah, because I feel this was a fun conversation, and I feel I think we hit all the notes. Really,
Yes,
I don't think
yes,
we missed. But and then like he was saying, um, it's out of respect for the era of the generation. You don't want to say too much, dude. I don't think I didn't say anything that I haven't said in my content. Oh no shit, Grovers. But trust me, that's why it's hard, bro. When people say, "Oh, you know my shtick," I troll these fucking PCs, view tax collectors. So when they say, "Oh, tell your stories," it's like, fuck. Well, I mean, I only did 5 years in prison, and I think I got clout stories, man. I could, dude. Um, but then again, and that's why it's hard for homies to do this shit because um, what can you really talk about?
There's not
I
much when it comes to actual activities. There's just not much one can speak on. That just speak on the experiences that you go through is fine. You yourself, and that you still have to have some kind of respect to what you are saying. But from
yeah,
there, you can't take it further.
yeah, I've already shot my wad on that, bro. You know what I mean? I've talked about what I could talk about. I've done videos. I've taken them down. I said everything I could say. You know, even when I was locked up, I said how. And you know, dude, I don't even get trolled, bro. Every now and then, you know, like you know, some faceless trolls and some people that favor the fucking pesetas, they'll want to call me tagger, bro. I'm like, dude, okay, so what? And as I said, like I said earlier, bro, that there's something to be proud of to say we stood on 10 toes and went to war. And I can tell you that we got a lot of cases. We just had a generation gap. We couldn't, and it killed us. Maybe two, really. So it hurt. But I've told you in this, and when we talk, if we were able to make it, I don't think I'd be here. You know what I mean? I really don't, bro. Again, I fucking, you know, I was active 2000 to 2005 as
Yeah,
far as you
so
would say active.
individuals like yourself, I mean, even at 49, you would still be putting in some work that you would have to do, and you still would do it. I'm sure if you didn't have a
Facts
family
on
and
me.
responsibilities like you do right now, you'll be all up in the mix.
Yeah, but that's why I did this one video, failed game member with a silver lining,
Mm,
because man, I would not give up anything for my kids and my girl, bro. My boys are my
yes.
world, and uh, I had some dark times, bro. Drugs, alcohol, and I've said in my content, I went through the depression when I realized that it was going to be over for FMA, and I felt that all my homeboys doing life, all the gunning, everything, all the risks that I was taking in 2000, um, giving the little homies, they had more straps than they had, just a bunch of shit, and all for naught. You know what I mean? And
No, well,
now I
every
look at, uh huh,
most people that are our age go through that because you want to be up in the front lines, but at the same time, are you willing to lose what you have now that you've
no,
established, that you've built,
no,
to be on them
no,
stomping grounds, to be in the front line?
no,
Yeah,
that's
and there's
stupid.
a lot that are gonna say, "No, I'll just be that family man."
Yeah,
That's it.
I put it to like this, bro. I had homies that are my age now that their girls would not let me come around because I was really
Oh,
trying to not let FMA die.
I know
I
that
had six,
feeling.
seven little younger homies, bro, all through Pico, Hauser, Washington, you know, La Brea. I just didn't happen. You know what I mean? Uh, and, man, I'm at peace. My kids, bro. Dude, that's all that matters to me, and that's my journey. And I went, and you know what? That's why I'm proud because I survived, and a lot
Yes,
of us did, and a lot of dudes from Big Barrio survived.
yes, and that's
So
why I'm sharing the stories of my experiences throughout the tag bagging realm, because once you step further than that, then there's just nothing I can speak on after that.
yeah, bro, don't worry about it. This was
But
fun.
yes, people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that
Thank
went
you,
through all
anarchist.
that era is what we understand now. Are we
Arturo,
able to go ahead and be in the front line and risk getting locked up and
what up,
then
too?
losing the opportunities to be with your family, which if it's your girlfriend, wife, or children, because that's what you sign up for. If you signed up, I'm gonna be a gangbanger for life, then everything else doesn't matter basically.
Yeah, that's
So
facts right there, Galbish. That's facts. That's facts, man. I had homies, man, dude. You know, I just like, but you know, for being where I'm from, there's like three stories I could tell. But see, I don't have to because it's unnecessary. No, and that's unnecessary clout. It wouldn't be proving anything. It have been things that have been done 20,000, 30,000 times already. It's nothing, right? And that's only sometimes because I'm human, so sometimes when they do the little tagger shit gets me mad. But don't get me mad. I just want to sell soldier. You know what I mean? In
Yeah,
my
it's
head, like,
understandable.
man, it's just what if I could say this, if I could say that, and it, at the end of the day, dude, nah, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? We know what that was. You know what that was. And there was two or three homies in here. They know what that was, bro. So I'm gonna say 21 for me. Um, I gotta probably get ready to go. I would imagine my girl's about to like text me anytime soon. Yo, dude, you done? You gotta get the boys a bath.
It's that time. It's that time.
Yeah,
I gave you your 1 hour. Come on back.
yeah. So game members are sheep, brave, and numbers. It's how you handle yourself that counts. Yeah, yeah, dude. As a man, you grow out. I grew out of that, and a lot of homies did. I went to tattoos from West Side Tattoos on Washington and Washington. I got all my tattoos done by dudes from 18th Street. Actually, what's up, Part Boy? So,
That guy's going to Washington and 10th Street
yeah, dude, this dude,
or
bro,
10th Ave.
this guy right here, Gromish, bro. I'm telling you, dog. It's like I don't know, bro. He might be from BSA, maybe.
Well,
Yeah, I do. I
he's from
don't know,
somewhere.
bro.
He's from
BSA,
somewhere in that area. He knows a lot.
LC, yeah, dude. He didn't get along with MCA, maybe TIK.
Oh, if it's not MCA, then okay.
Nah, yeah, no. So all right, man. I gotta wrap it up, guys. I Do you think we did well? Did we jump over? I think we covered everything, dog. Right?
Yeah, I mean, from everything we spoke of before it started, yes, I would
Yeah,
say most of the things we covered. If anything, go ahead. Hopefully, the listeners, the viewers have questions, and we could do a part three to this, man.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure people want to know actual um, activities that sent people to jail. That's the stories
That
everybody wants.
nah, bro. I can't. I can't. And that's sometimes. That's I just nah, dude. If you're
And
from
that's
that era, if you're
yes,
from that
that's a
time,
that's the fine line right there.
yeah, dude. Yeah, if you're from that era and you're from that time, then you're gonna know about BSA, LC, FMA, MCA, TIK. Those were the crews from the Mid City District. MWA, BOK out of it. OFA was on Pico Union. ATC was USC area.
The
Uh,
exposition and
yeah,
King
exposition.
Boulevard.
Yeah. Um, and it was that's why there was like a silent alliance between FMA, BSA, LC, primarily because we all three did not get along with TIK or MCA, and then that's why really MWA and BOK had a thing. See what I
Yes,
mean? So
yes,
it was quietly, in a way, kind of like MCA, TIK, BOK. They did not get along with BSA, AOB. Excuse me, BSA. I'm just keeping it in Mid City now. FMA, BSA, LC.
yes,
I'm just keeping it to. AOB wasn't really Mid City. Mid City. AOB was like weird Koreatown, kind of Hollywood. Like they were
yes,
scattered around, and there were a lot of Filipinos. Shout out to the AOBs. There were a lot of Filipino homies. I think Chubbs was half Filipino, half Mexican, right? So that was like the Mid City, and we all. It's crazy how we did not like each other. BSA, FMA, LC, yes. MCA, TIK, we just did not like each other,
and
bro.
MWA was there too.
Yeah, they were, but they were Hollywood, But yeah,
Yes,
so all right, man, I could do this for another hour, but
yeah,
I
no
really I
worries,
got to cut
man.
it
I
short. I
the
appreciate you, brother. Thank
invitation,
you for.
and we
Hey,
can do this part three.
but no, go ahead. I can't say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say I'll
See,
go part three
look.
if
Look at him. Look, yeah. Okay. You know what I mean? Okay. I know that, dude,
Yes,
man. Bro, you don't understand how many times, man. Dog, I just can't. I just can't.
they were my worst enemies, huh?
They
Okay,
were, they do, bro.
Gromesh. Yeah.
They, man. Dog, I just can't. We
Well, I'm
had we
glad to
we
know
had a lot
that
of beef with them, bro. A lot
I'm
of
glad to
beef.
know that Gromish is still around, man. That's all I can say about that one.
Yeah, we had a we had a lot of beef with them, bro. And I tell you what, in the middle of that beef, we were not. Page lived in what we considered our hood on West Boulevard, and
Okay.
we wouldn't trip on him. And I could tell you a story of when I was from BSA, rolling hard on the TIKs, and there was two TIKs that did not run, and the BSAs didn't do nothing to them. And it was kind of like how we had it with Page, and then I think there was somebody else. Um, so all right, man, I gotta.
Yeah, man. Thank you
So look,
again.
I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Um, like the homie said, maybe we could do another one. But we'll see. But I appreciate everybody for stopping by, and hopefully we didn't go all over the place. And please understand that we got to be respectful. We only so much we can say. So I thank everybody for stopping by, and my respects. And I don't know, homie, if you want to just another vato. I don't know if you want to say goodbye to everybody. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
hold
mean,
on, John. Yep,
the
yep,
lowest
yep,
homies, yes. The
yep.
lowest homies,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
give
yeah,
respects to
yeah.
the lowest on Crenshaw. Yeah.
All right, Gromish. All right, homie. I know this dude. All right, everybody. Muchas gracias. Thank you for
Yes.
stopping by. I
Saludos to
appreciate it.
everybody. Gracias. And if we do make
Adios.
part 3, then we'll see what we
Yep.
can give you.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.